Saturday evening. I have soon recorded 400 videos about this Airlinesim. We played this game like more than 15 years ago. No, 15 years, 15 years ago. 15 that's 15. Living in this apartment 11 years, but in my last apartment 2 kilometers from here I was living another 9 years small one-room apartments. I did play a lot of flight simulator, the old flight simulator FSX, that's the one they call X from year 2006. But before that I was living another called Vedbæk, close 20 kilometers from here, 25. I was using this Microsoft Flight Simulator FX 2000 and 2002, 2004, and then the FSX or the X 2006. Then I moved to here. I stopped, but like 15 years there was no new flight simulator, like 2006 to 2019. There was no new flight simulator, like 15 years, 14 years. And my computer cannot run Flight Simulator 2020 because it's too old. I cannot run the Flight Simulator X. I made some video in Danish. The airplane could barely move. So I know I have many airports as scenery. Some I did buy, some I did download from flightsim.com. I did download many hundreds of airports and did install in the FSX, and I have many hundreds of different kind of aircrafts and sounds, engine sound sets and cockpits and all kind of free stuff I did download. I spent many thousands of hours to do it, so I know many of the airports I know being in the virtual. And then I'm using this flight radar. I know some of the airports. This airport, I was just to watch about Microsoft Flight Simulator FSX tonight. So, but it's been so hot. I was watching a video that compared Flight Simulator 2020 with old X. This is the new. That's New York, The Guardian in New York City. This look insane, super nice. Actually, I have subscribed there. I think we have many Microsoft Flight Simulator YouTube channels do it as live streaming. I maybe like to do it myself because some flight takes many hours. You've got a lot of time to sit chatting when you have the autopilot on. When you fly and you can sit and drink coffee or beers and chatting with your subscribers many hours, because it takes many hours to fly, like London to New York or London to Dubai or something. It takes many hours. Or London, Tokyo takes 14 hours, or New York, Singapore maybe 16 hours. Fly London. Or you can fly New York, Singapore. It's some of the longest, I think. I think you cannot fly New York, Sydney. You cannot fly London, Sydney, not yet. But I think you can fly Dubai, Sydney. But I think the longest flight, that's New York, Singapore, somewhere there. I don't know where Singapore is. Somewhere here. Shanghai, but Shanghai is not Singapore. Singapore, okay, Singapore there. Singapore, it's down there. Okay, of course I know where Singapore. But New York, Singapore is one of the longest, I think. Singapore, you can fly London, Singapore, but London, Tokyo. London, London, Manila. I think that's where the London, Manila. In the Philippines, that's a long flight, London, Manila. Singapore and Bali. I think you could do London, Bali. I know where Bali is, somewhere around here. East Timor. That's Bali. I think you can fly London, Bali. So, but I just made 9 videos in my own language, Danish, explaining what I'm trying to explain in English. I've been spending many thousand hours in old days in the Microsoft Flight Simulators, and I have many of the airports in scenery. Some are paid, like London Heathrow and Paris Charles de Gaulle and New York F. Kennedy, some big airports. So, but I did leasing in the flights in the list updates. So got 500,000 now. Got some money. Did I want another aircraft? So I'd like to make a small new route on the Falkland Islands, because it's part of the United Kingdom, like the Cayman Islands. But this aircraft is maybe too big. We have to move it to Cayman Island or back to United Kingdom. Or try to do something like Glasgow or something later. But let's just try the Falkland Islands. Yes, I made some fleet groups. Yes, that's this Auro regional jets. So maybe rename, because it's called the BAE. BAE Systems. But let's just call it Auro regular jets. I won one. I did not want this one. I did not have more money. Actually, I like to get some of this because they have level 10. I could use this from London Heathrow, my main hub. But that was no. I did not win it. I did not have the money. But I did one like this one, the 170. That's level 8. I don't have any the RJ85. I don't have this. Is a level 9 airport. And the leasing is super cheap, so I think I just keep it. The leasing is like 11,000. Only 11,000. Auro 11,000. They are about 11,000 each, so I will keep it even, because you have a limit number. This Auro regular jets only have 12 in the game, and I have 2. Can use it to make a hub somewhere. Could make Cayman Island or Glasgow or something when I know the game better. So if I cannot make a business, because I cannot use it in my hub in London Heathrow, so I made a new in the Falkland Islands, down the Falklands, South America. Actually up to Buenos Aires. We've got 2 airports in Buenos Aires. This is the airport for local flights inside the city. This airport is for locals. The Jörg Newbery Airport, and the international flights is a little bit outside the city there, but I can never find it. We have one Buenos Aires, Amsterdam, 11,000 kilometers. We got one there. So, but this is about Airlinesim game. So we have one departing, but that's a long route. But let's go back to Airlinesim. But I think it's you can see my flight schedule from called Mount Pleasant is the Falkland Islands. There, Falkland Islands, to these 2 different kind of airports in Buenos Aires. That's 1,800 kilometers, and one to a city, Ushuaia, in the south part of. But I think it's that's too small. It's only a level 2. Got one company have actually I got 12 weekly departures. I'm the only one have there, but then we have to change to another kind of aircraft. So we got the St. Helena, but I think that's far away from the Falkland. We got, but now we am in we departure Buenos Aires. Oh, I thought maybe how far away is St. Helena from Falkland Islands? I think that's far away. So, but let's get. But now we are departure. But this video is not about the flight radar, and I really need something to drink. I will go. Yes, I need to wait a few minutes because we just to take off. That's a Dreamliner. That's 11,500 kilometers. The Dreamliner. We have to look at. I did not know they could fly that long. 11,500. So that takes, this is 2:30 p.m. in local time, then next day like 9 a.m. in the morning, tomorrow 9 a.m. so they will fly the whole day and the whole night. So they will fly many hours. We have the Buenos Aires city there. But we cannot get the Streamliners cheap in Airlinesim. No, we can look. British Arrows. That's very large. I make interlining. I have 50 aircrafts in London Heathrow. So that's a good interlining, probably expensive. British Arrow, let's look my interlining. That was very good. Yes, 4,000. Or I have a big one, 14,000. But I think this is one of the Fly-by Airways. That's 200, one of the biggest airline companies the whole game. But I still I think we should keep it. We're not going to in Denmark, so we need to do some flights to Denmark. I have Interlining, this super one of the biggest, the Fly-by Airways in Denmark. Let's look. That's one of the biggest company, the whole server. That's the second biggest one. I have Interlining in Denmark, so we need to fly to Denmark. We have no flight to Denmark. We have to do that. We need, let's look the flight planes. 64. So that's 3 weekly flights to Miami. We not delete this. And 66 is Dallas. Not delete that. What is that? That's Dubai. But the process we cannot do delete it and go to Denmark because that's 114%. We cannot do that. So let's look next flight plane. That's 65 is Fort Lauderdale, but that's the one making a lot of money. Fort Lauderdale 4 times every week. And 62 Kathmandu, Fort Lauderdale, but that's the one makes a lot of money. We need to leasing an aircraft to actually I think we have 2 of the Boeing 757. But they are maybe gone. Yes, we don't have actually 479 because let's try bits. Let's try bits. We cannot do it. We don't have enough money. We need just a little bit more money. Now the power is flashing. I need to stop the video. So we need to get a new Boeing 757 then makes a lot of flights to Denmark because I have Interlining this super big airline. So but let's charge the camcorder.